The topics we discuss are many.
No story too bold to talk about.
Strictly our own opinions.
But they are opinions from people like you.
Welcome to the NAKE'd podcast.
Bob Saget is the voice and narrator on How I Met Your Mother. Hey guys, it's Keelan.
Hey everybody, it's Ethan, and I simply pointed at the TV and said, "Yeah, Bob Saget's the voice of old Ted."
My favorite part of watching TV is annoying Peach by saying, "Oh, they're in this show." And he's like, "Cool, babe." It's a J.
I forgot what my one-liner was. GDM Tech Allen.
So original, gosh.
I couldn't remember what it was.
That's become your catchphrase by now. Guys, I just dropped a thumbtack under my feet.
Fine. Here, I'll drop a fact for you. In the last month, Ethan hasn't started an intro to GDM Tech Allen.
Hell yeah. Saving the best for last.
And hydrate. What's up, Snickers? Oh no, we got a new
I don't know. I'm
follow.
so mad at him. He's throwing shade at me.
He's throwing shade
Hurt
at
my
you.
feelings. Made me cry.
I'm just glad he's here.
Yeah.
Right? That's I talked to Snicker wife earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and little bit had her school pictures today.
Oh,
She's so
Aw.
cute.
So cute.
Her hair is almost exactly like Alan's, just bleach blonde.
I love her little curls. I think that's like the only thing I look for when I actually log into Facebook is Tiffany's posts. So you'd be like, "Oh, baby."
That's like my mom has a picture of her on her phone. I gotta steal it. So my mom like messed with her hair and gave her like a Marilyn Monroe haircut. It was cute.
Oh my goodness.
Aw, you must have looked real cute.
She was adorable. Put a little mole on her. You can put her over the grate.
Yeah,
I really hope-
theater sent me that so I can forward it to you.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
You know what kind of feels like a forward though?
What?
The new Nintendo Switch OLED edition.
I was watching some videos about it. People are pretty positive.
Yeah, no. It's a positive release to say the least. But let me at least tell you all of the specs of the Switches beforehand. So, as you guys know, we've had like 4 different releases of the Switch. We have the release day Nintendo Switch, we have the version 2, we have the Nintendo Switch Lite, and now we have the Nintendo Switch OLED. I'm not comparing the Nintendo Switch Lite to any of the originals. I'm considering that one in a different class because that one is spec'd lower. It's not. It wouldn't be a fair comparison, right? So for the release Switch specs, you have an ARM4 processor that runs at 1.2 gigahertz. It's they're meant for smaller computers. It's gonna get real basic with it. It's a 6.2-inch LCD display with a plastic screen over it, so it's not actual glass. 4 gigabytes of RAM, 32 gigabytes of hard drive, 720p graphics when you're playing it in your hands, or 1080 when it's docked. Bluetooth, micro SD card slot expansions at 2 terabytes. The battery life on it is 2.5 to 6.5 hours, and when the Switch came out, it was priced at $299. Now it's $249, with the Nintendo Switch Lite sitting at $199. So they comparatively that when you consider the price of a Nintendo Switch to a 360, the Series X, and the PlayStation 5, like you can't beat it, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, but again, I don't know. For some reason, any device that comes like the Switch not coming with like a terabyte in it is kind of like a joke to me. Like if I can get an iPhone with a terabyte in it, why can't they put it in a Switch?
So I have an answer for that, and it's kind of beautiful how Nintendo won't go for innovation will go for repurposing older technology, and Microsoft and Sony will see that and go, hey, this worked really well for the Switch. Let's adapt it to our console. And they make the idea better. That's something that I read online, especially when I was doing research for this topic. Like
Well, I think.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was gonna say more memory would probably drive up the price a lot more, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, but still, I
More.
mean,
Does it have the more powerful processor?
No. Uh, okay. So between the release Switch which was released in May of 2017, we got an updated version of the Nintendo Switch in 2019. Had upgraded processor for higher power efficiency, which led to the newer version of the Nintendo Switch lasting from 4.5 to 9 hours from the original 2.5 to 6.5.
Jesus.
Nintendo will continue to say that they didn't make any changes to any of the other hardware, but we have proof that Nintendo worked with an LCD manufacturer that made better screens for the updated Switch, which made it to be brighter, which led to it being warmer so that it could show you more colors. And the darks would be darker. If that makes any sense. Right? And those were the two Switch versions that we've had before. With the OLED version, you have a lot of the same interior components as the version 2, which was released in 2019. But the biggest difference is the screen. It went from 6.2 to a full 7-inch display, keeping the same size. But the new OLED Switch is heavier. It has custom AMD processors as the version 2. It's got the same processors when you're holding it in your hand, same resolution when you're holding it in your hand and when you have it docked, but it does have a newer dock. We don't know the full specs of the dock yet, but we know that they've added a new they replaced the USB cable on the inside with a network cable plug.
that's dumb, right? So I like that it has a network cable now, which is convenient. But at the same time, how am I going to charge my Pro controller now?
You still have the USB connections on the side.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
I can handle that.
Yeah. You'll still have the same amount of USB connections available to you. There's two
Okay,
on one side and there's one on the other.
So my other question is the OLED. The only company I know that uses OLED on a mass level is LG.
And Samsung.
Well, and Samsung. But LG has been one of the leading developers of it, right? And LG TVs have horrible burn-in.
Yeah.
And I've already heard rumors of the Switch having burn-in.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Damn.
that is one of the big issues that they're facing right now. But there
And I
are
thought Samsung used QLED, not the OLED.
They use OLED as well as QLED.
Oh.
Yeah. They have TVs that use both. But I think those were older TVs.
Yeah, because
like
QLED is their latest and greatest.
Is this why like Switch or Nintendo really didn't like push this launch? Like I feel like I see a lot more gearing up to like any Nintendo launch, and this one was just kind of like like it wasn't like a big launch like the Switch was.
Well,
but even then it's been sold out for like a year. So they really, why waste the marketing budget if you're already like pre-sold out a year ahead?
That's a good point.
Yeah. I won't go into the other upgrades that they did for the model. The only one that was really notable is they upgraded their rails for the Joy-Cons when you slide them in. They're tighter, so they're a much cleaner fit, and the internal storage went from 32 to 64 gigabytes. But the thing is priced at $349, dude. Like, we have 3 Nintendo Switches in the house, right? Like, I have the release year Switch, Norma has the V2 Switch, then the kiddo has a Switch Lite. I'm not gonna drop $350 on a new fucking Switch. I was expecting the Pro version, and I think that's where all the hype went, which is why Nintendo didn't really spend as much marketing material on it because they didn't need to. Everyone was already expecting a Pro Switch, so releasing a better resolution Switch with different handheld components would be a bigger win. Plus, the biggest winner for me would be the kickstand. The kickstand isn't like a little kick thing anymore. It's like full half the
whole
back
back,
opens up all the way. Yeah. It's fucking
Nice.
cool.
I know, because the little kickstand annoys the shit out of me. At least
Yeah.
put 2 little kickstands, right? Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me some stability for the expensive ass piece of technology I just bought.
So I think the Nintendo Switch OLED is supposed to replace the original and
And is it only at 1080 or is it actually 4K?
only 1080. The
Yeah,
rest of
see,
the
so like,
internals
why
are
even
the
go through
exact same
this
thing.
effort, right?
Mm-hmm. But that's what Nintendo's known for. They're not known for making innovation like Sony and Microsoft. Like Nintendo, if they didn't sell the Switch and went full developer and didn't have to release their own hardware, they would make more money. But they don't go that route because it's not where they want to go.
No wonder they're
Nintendo,
such a big supporter of the Steam Deck.
me being a supporter of the Steam Deck,
No,
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Apparently.
right? Like if they had supported the Steam Deck, it'd be a different fucking story. But Nintendo's known for grabbing old technology and renovating it for newer with newer technology, and Sony and Microsoft will take what Nintendo's rolling with and make it better. Like that's the way that they work, which is why I don't think Nintendo will ever stand up against Sony or Microsoft, but also Sony and Microsoft aren't gonna come up with anything that that Nintendo hasn't already done.
So, what do y'all think would be a great? When do y'all think the life cycle of consoles is going to be over? As at-home consoles, I should say. So, like the Xbox and the PlayStation, right?
Mm-hmm.
With unless they adapt to more of the Switch model, how long will they last? Much longer.
With us,
Because
Go ahead.
PlayStation already tried to do their PSP, right? And as far as I know, they haven't really upgraded anything. And even though people do like the Switch and the portability of it, you don't really see people walking around playing it or anything like that. They mostly still played at home or just when they travel. So I think the consoles are still going to be a big pool because you're going to have the better internet. You're going to have your TV. You're not going to be in public.
But
I
what's
just don't see
stopping
anything
you?
else.
But what, like, what's stopping a lot of people from, the console hardcore at-home console gamers switching to at-home hardcore PCs that they can do all the same stuff off plus more?
Well, that's the thing. You have your exclusives, which are never gonna leave that environment, right? Like Sony's already invested a lot of money into their internal development studio, and so is Microsoft. Microsoft has already started porting games over to their PC side, but a lot of the other games are gonna stay as Xbox.
Yeah, but then
exclusives.
again, we just started the console life of these two current consoles, right? So,
Mhm.
what was the 360 was what, 13 years?
Mm-hmm.
So in 13 years, do you see Xbox still being an at-home console only?
I think so.
I don't think so. I think the reason why I feel that way is I think people would want the option, right? Like to like the Switch offers. You can set it up to your TV or you can take it on the go. And I do think that Xbox, both Microsoft and Sony, do need to take that in consideration just for their fan base, like something that does it all in one. Like we use our Xbox not just to play games, but to watch TV and to use all your other apps. It's just a one central hub. You can get stuff done. So maybe that option can be expanded, like through phones and other stuff, like Game Pass
Well,
already has.
Plus,
yeah,
to
I
be
could
fair,
see.
go ahead.
Yeah, well, Xbox, like like you said, they have Game Pass. As Pete showed, they have the little game controllers. I mean, they linked with PCs already. There's some kind of evolution happening, right? But PlayStation, what is PlayStation doing?
Well,
They're putting out Grand Theft Auto 6, you know what I mean? Or
DLC.
Yeah.
So, to be fair to PlayStation, like, Keelan had said that they had already tried mobile gaming with the PSP, but to be fair to the PSP, like it was definitely way before its time. Like you had a terrible 4-inch screen on that. You had disc games, so if you like shook them or if you bumped into someone
I
and
think that's
dropped
what
your
killed it.
console, yeah, like
Yeah.
that was the worst thing about the PSP. And by the time that Sony like, all right, fine, we'll make one digital, and they came out with the PS Vita, it was too late. And the PS Vita still has support from Sony at this moment, but they're not selling anymore. So I think if Sony were to release an updated version of it, it would be a lot more popular. But they're not going to do that because that's not what their main market is.
Yeah, but if they did Sony PSP Vita with 5G,
The Vita,
would that sell?
well, the Vita had capabilities for a cellular network.
Well,
And that didn't sell.
5G can handle it though. That was also the problem, right?
Yeah,
That was what, 3G back then?
4G LTE.
I wouldn't even say that.
No, it was just 4G.
I don't know.
Either way, I'm still excited for Nintendo to release a new console. I'll bet, it's kind of the same stuff that the V2 has, it's just a bigger screen. But I hope that OLED burn-in isn't a serious issue, or else Nintendo kind of screwed the pooch.
Another scandal. The first was Joy-Con drift. Now it's burn-in.
Right?
Well, that's the thing, will Nintendo continue to let quality slip? Because I think that would hurt more. That would hurt their brand more than anything else.
I don't know. I think even with the quality slip, I think that they'll still have a successful year.
I still say that the Switch is the standout console this generation.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree.
I'm also a Nintendo fangirl, so
We're a Nintendo.
I may be a little bit, maybe a little biased. Speaking of slipping up, this story, guys, is crazy. So a lot has been going on around like submarines. Like I feel like we've heard a lot about it. We had a collision recently, and there's like a deal on the table with Australia and Britain. Well, one Navy engineer, nuclear engineer, his name is Jonathan Tobe. He was arrested on Saturday because he was selling U.S. state secrets basically to the FBI, but he was trying to sell them to a foreign entity. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
I have.
No.
Fucking
Oh my
wild,
gosh.
guys.
So it was him and his wife. So a couple of details about him. He worked as a civilian for the military for a while, but from like 2012 to 2014, he worked on naval reactors, he worked on the naval nuclear propulsion, and there's two significant differences when it comes to subs. So you have your diesel submarines, which are louder and they're powered obviously by diesel. Then you have your nuclear propulsion submarines that are quiet and often go undetected on any radar. They can stay submerged for months, whereas diesel ones can have to resurface every couple hours. So if you're on a stealth mission, that's probably, or patrolling our waters, I guess you could say, it's probably not the best one to use diesel. Well, this guy worked on a bunch of those projects. And what's really crazy is that him and his wife sent packages to foreign nations. And they said, basically the note said something like, please forward this to your military intelligence. We have basically secrets to sell. This is not a hoax. Which is crazy. Like, it's like you might as well just paint a sign on the roof of your house that says something like, if I want to commit treason, arrest me now. So
Right.
that package, one of those packages that was sent to this country, and mind you, they sent this to over 63 countries. One of those packages was received in April 2020. December 2020 is when the FBI received the package from the foreign country. We don't know why it took from April to December to get it to the US. But they started doing their investigation. So they contacted them through this encrypted messaging that they had provided to this foreign country. And they started a conversation. So the FBI sent them like I think it was like 10,000 in cryptocurrency as a show of good faith. And they have these people on recording doing drops. Like the guy put like an SD card in a half-eaten peanut butter sandwich and threw it in the trash can. That was supposed to be a drop. The wife was working as a lookout. It was just like a really bad spy movie over these couple of months. So yeah, I mean, this guy, he worked on the Bettis Atomic Power Lab. He had access to various amounts of information. Who knows what he knows or what drove him to do this, but the Justice Department has also released an uncovering of the complaint. So a complaint is really just like what they're being charged with, but of course, everybody is innocent until proven guilty, but the FBI has the receipts, basically.
I wonder if they'll make a B movie out of it.
I could see what's his name, Danny McBride playing the husband.
I mean, there's been a lot of heavy cases that have happened. Shoot, who was it? It was actually a big senator, Feinstein. I think it was Senator Feinstein, where her chauffeur was found out to be a Chinese spy. And then
What?
Rep Swalwell, he dated a Chinese spy for a while.
Oh my gosh.
And
well, there's a reason why
he's on the Intel committee.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a reason why you're bringing this up. So, Australia, they had gotten with France, and they said, "Hey, France, I want some subs, and so we can patrol the southern China Sea." And they took way too Spy Kids 4. Hey, Pixie. But yeah, they took way too long. They were overcharging. They were out of budget. Their project was delayed by a lot. And Australia was like, okay, then just give me some nuclear propulsion subs. And France is like, nah, bro, we can't do that, because the US and Britain has kept a close relationship. Like, they don't share that with anybody else in the world since 1958. So Australia came to us and was like, hey, I need your help, which of course we were like, hell yeah. We have another ally in the Pacific. We get to, have these undetectable subs trolling around the South China Sea, and China's like, wait a minute, this is our jurisdiction. These are our waters. You can't be in these waters. So that is kind of where I kind of left off on the whole submarine talk. But I never thought I would be so interested and invested in submarines in 2021. But it's crazy.
I hear a lot about submarines these days.
Yeah. Well, the nuclear propulsion ones are especially interesting because they're powered by uranium. So, and the uranium can be used to make, nuclear bombs. And that's incredibly important information to keep, of course, secret. So for a man like Jonathan and Diane Tobe, just to be, somebody who is supposed to be entrusted with their secrets, to go around and send 63 countries, say, hey, I'll sell you these in exchange for cryptocurrency. What do they know? What else does he know? And why was it so sloppy? That's another thing. That's just insulting. You should know with your rank.
They were trying their best. Hell, so when they went to the plot that was to kidnap the governor of Wisconsin, Whitmore, the FBI infiltrated in half of the agent, or half the people there were FBI agents. So it's if you're planning this stuff in the United States, the FBI is going to find out, and they're going to get in on it. So, what was your plan? What was your hope?
I don't know.
Pretty much.
Follow through.
Yeah. I didn't get too many details about this, but this also comes on the heels of a sub collision that happened. Apparently, they had struck a underwater mountain because they were going too fast near Guam, and all 137 people were injured and one died, from hitting this underwater thing. I'm not sure if it was a diesel one or a nuclear one. I guess it could be pretty bad if it was a nuclear one, but
Well, if you're talking about the one I heard about, it was a nuclear sub, and
oh, wow.
as of last week, the official report was still an unknown object. So they had speculations of what it would be, but they could not confirm or deny what it was, which
Mm,
could also be an
Wow.
underwater mine because China has been planting a lot of underwater mines around the South China Sea.
yeah.
Or they're covering up
Mm.
Godzilla, like
Well, that would be closer
Covered
to
up
Japan
Godzilla.
instead of Guam.
Yeah.
Racist.
he's a sea monster.
He's a sea monster. He only goes to Japan and San Francisco. We know this.
Yeah.
From the movies.
He's in the Pacific.
The historical texts.
But that's the thing, like you can't tell me that it's an unknown thing when they have all of their radars and sonars and all the technology that they do that they can't even.
Well, with
Yeah,
some,
it was
unknown.
So
undetected.
that's what the
Oh.
suspicion is.
Tinfoil hat time. Hang on.
Godzilla's coming for us, y'all.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I don't have mine. Sorry, guys.
Do we have an emoji slot?
Yeah,
We
we
might.
probably do.
We should upload the tinfoil hat emoji.
Yeah, I'll upload it.
But
I'll download it.
no, there's a lot of tensions, a lot of drama, and I know the deal with Australia really pissed off China. We already pissed them off a lot over the last couple of years, and I don't know. If you look around the world right now, things are starting to get desperate for everybody, and when things get desperate, shit gets scary.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like NJ and I were talking about this. What if we go to war with China? Like, would we win?
So the
Possibly.
problem with war,
Likely.
yeah. Well, it depends on your definition of win, right?
Mhm.
So first off, it would be the definition and fuck around and find out because we'll actually then find out what the U.S. government really has. Because I mean, with
Yeah.
what we know about, right? Let's say the Star Wars project, right?
Mhm.
I don't know how familiar you are with the Star Wars project, but it was under Reagan.
Mhm.
Are we building a Death
And
Star?
say that again.
Are we building a Death Star?
In a way. So the whole point was to build lasers that can hyper focus on like a missile's trajectory or like motherboard that controls the whole unit. So they can hyper focus a laser onto that one thing, and thus the rocket would fall out of the sky. Depending on the rocket. There's certain things like that that the Star Wars project worked on.
Hmm.
And whatever came out of it, right? Like we don't know what the final result of something like that was.
That will probably forever remain classified unless if the United States openly says like, "Hey, we used to have this technology, not anymore, declassified." But they're never going to do that.
What we do know is that the Iron Dome that protects Israel was also developed off the same technology. So like at least gives us an idea of if it works or not, right? Because the Iron Dome has worked very well in defending from rocket attacks. So,
Mhm.
but so what I mean, one major thing that happened uh last week was not only have we had all these tensions and stuff, but China has for the last couple months been very provoking. So China has done everything for other people to provoke other people to attack them. A couple months ago, there was a battle that happened between India and China, where no shots were fired, but multiple casualties on each side, as two groups of soldiers with clubs and rocks fought to the death at the Indian border.
Oh my god.
Holy shit!
And
Wow.
then we had Hong Kong happen, which was clearly an invasion, right? They
Mhm.
broke the treaty with Great Britain about
Yeah.
Hong Kong 2050. So that was the whole thing, that Hong Kong would be turned over in 2050, but it's supposed to remain a two-party state, which it's slowly been stifled and shut down now, 20 years too early. And now China has openly said, when we take Taiwan, not if, but when, if anyone interferes, our first response will be a nuclear missile sent your way.
They
So,
also said, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and no, I was just going to. So for us, that can be a little off-putting since the Ronald Reagan, I believe the Queen Elizabeth, which is the UK, and Australia, are all hanging out with Japan outside of Taiwan. So if anything happened to Taiwan, those four countries would immediately respond, and I guess would be attacked by a nuclear missile.
Oh.
So here's the world, right? It's round. If you're a true millennial, you know that reference. Yeah, China has also said like they'll say they'll try to achieve unification by peaceful means, blah 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 blah. But they also go on to say, and I quote, "Those who forget their heritage, betray their country, and seek to break up their country will come to no good end." Like that's a threat. That is
Yeah.
a threat.
Mm-hmm.
So Taiwan has there's a few reasons Taiwan's a thorn in China's side. For one, they're a big standout, right? They are also, I don't know if you know much about when the Communist Party took over China, the ruling family fled to Taiwan. So in some eyes in the people of Asia, that the true ruling class of China is actually in Taiwan. So that's where the joke of East Taiwan comes in.
Ah.
So the government of Taiwan was the opponents to the Communist Party of China. So that's what.
Yeah.
And also, Taiwan is the only thing that really stopping China from also absorbing into Japan's territory. So if they want to continue to, grow, they need Taiwan and Japan for vast technology resources plus vast financial resources.
I mean that's where all processors are made. That's where the microprocessor market is.
So on one side we have, so far the line's been kind of drawn and people have taken sides. India, Australia, Japan, the US, and Taiwan have all said they will stand together. And Russia and China, Iran have all said that they will stand together.
Oh. Iran.
And yeah, over last week when China actually flew over 100 planes into Taiwanese airspace, it provoked Taiwan to pretty much scramble and start preparing for war. And as their president said, she will not bow to the Chinese party and they will fight to the last man standing.
No matter how the wind howls, a mountain will not bow.
Her quote was almost like that.
I literally got those vibes, and you said it. Like, that was so creepy.
So on one side, I believe Mongolia is on the side of Taiwan. So there you go. The Mongolian Navy will be there to help.
Isn't it landlocked?
The only landlocked navy in the world. Yeah.
Really?
What about Canada's?
Canada has ocean on both sides of the country.
No, I know that. But Canada has a navy.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. Canada right now is not doing too well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Justin Trudeau is very communistic in his rulings. So, I don't know. This might be, have you ever heard the story about Mexico during World War II?
Mm-mm.
No.
So Germany had sent a secret letter to Mexico, and said, "Would you please join us and attack the U.S. and distract them while we're doing our thing?" Well, Mexico actually ended up telling the U.S., and it was one of the deciding factors into the U.S. joining the European war front.
Ah.
Mexico was like, nah, bro. Like, that's completely north of me. Like, what are you thinking?
Well, you know, during the Mexican-American War, the U.S. government did march into the Mexico City, to the capital, and they did take over entire Mexico. But then they said, "No, we're good. Y'all can have this back." Bye, and left. I always say they should have just kept the Mexico at that point. We could have had what, like 70 states at this point? How many states are in Mexico? Or how many provinces?
16.
16.
Another colonizer taking over Mexico. Just what we needed.
Hey, they provoked it, okay?
No, to be fair, Mexico took a lot of the ideology from Spain, so like Mexico swung Big Dick around like it owned the place, and that was the proper response from the United States. But I do know that the United States did aid in World War II.
I hope so.
Yeah, they did. They did.
I think Japan really learned that lesson when U.S. aided in World War II.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, that's funny.
Poor Peach. You mean that Mexico did aid the U.S. in World War II?
Yeah,
what you're saying?
That's what I meant. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I got
guys.
you.
Okay,
Sorry,
I was like, I hope that you do know that. I
My
should
bad.
have
The U.S. won?
We were in a war?
Yeah.
But I mean, I would suggest looking at a lot of the parallels, right?
Mm.
So 2008, you had the financial crash. 1919, you had the financial crash. I know they're not the exact dates, but just leading in. Then you had pandemic. And it led to a lot of desperation worldwide, and people lashed out and reached out. So
This is why all of our rulers need to know history. Like, we don't want history repeating itself, especially the bad parts of history.
Until then, we'll just have to cure our morbid curiosity with interesting shows.
so
Also coming from
hold on, just to help the transition. If you really like Korean drama shows, you should make sure we also protect South Korea, because it gives us things like the Squid Games.
Bam,
No.
bam, 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 bam.
Let's be like, also
Flawless
from the
transition.
Eastern Asia.
There you go. I was a fan of Squid Game.
I like Squid Game.
The best way I can describe Squid Game, and it sucks because you know how when new people are asking about the show and you want to describe it, but in such a way that is to not give spoilers. The only way I can describe it is an adult Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say a bunch of people play childhood games until mass murder happens.
Do you guys think that you would survive Squid Game?
No.
No.
I would definitely try very hard.
Would you be?
I would have enough confidence to make it to like the third round at least.
I would want to keep the same optimism, but I know I'll be out first round.
J-Bot!
Hey, J-Bot.
I would not last.
Hey,
Games.
Jay Butt, were you able to eat tonight? Did they? Wait, y'all made meals, right?
Yeah.
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 We made her meals.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure she had a home cooked meal and not like eating. But anyway,
And Jay's teaches meals on wheels.
Hey, bot, please drop your Squid Game knowledge because I know you got some.
Hey, how come we say Squid Game and she just appears? I don't know. That's kind of creepy. What are you plotting on us?
She sensed a
She was
disturbance
waiting.
in the force. It's an easy solution, guys.
You had chicken teriyaki? I'm glad you like that one.
Ooh,
I made that one.
dude.
It sounds good.
J-Bot, would you win the Squid Game if you had participated? I would want to be optimistic. No, I'll definitely be out like first, second round. Like second round's being generous. But this show is so great to watch because it was something different, right? Like it wasn't something that you had to
It wasn't a remake.
yeah, exactly. Oh, sing mode. Sing mode on who, Snicker?
Oh, you played most of the others they played? That's pretty cool. You know what?
Played
Here.
most of the
Did,
other.
did
call it on
anyone
me.
die during those games? How accurate was it?
J-Bot is very competitive, so I probably would have gotten a panic attack and get canceled. Evie. J-Bot's very competitive, so you know, like if you would have won against her, maybe. Nope.
Whoa, we're all gonna die.
Sorry, I had to let Artemis out.
Whoa, he got intense.
Sound like the voice in the sky.
Like T-Pain. Oh yeah.
No, you sound.
I was supposed to sound like T-Pain. Okay.
Well, that's auto-tune. You didn't have auto-tune on. You had like the detached body voice.
Oh, like this one?
Yeah.
Oh. Did you want this one instead?
Remember
There.
There you go.
the brown
I'll
sugar cookies.
take the sing-song mode from you. I'll just have to lean back in my chair a little bit so it's not too loud.
I know. I kind of want to try one of the brown sugar cookies, right? Like, come on.
Mhm.
So, J-Bot, you now owe us a bunch of brown sugar cookies. You volunteered. Thanks.
I wonder why nobody was licking the edges out of the shapes. Yeah, like I was thinking this. I was like, this is impossible, and it kind of reminded me. I sent this video to a group chat earlier, but it was talking about the Mexican Squid Game, and it was like the little little La Rosa things that are like circular and they like crumble. I've never had one because I'm peanuts, but they're like, yeah, I'll try to unopen it without crumbling it.
Now, so legit, one of the games would be like, eat one of those without a glass of water and survive.
Oh my god, no.
That
That would suck.
And I
Really easy.
really think that the players wouldn't realize they could. Because, like, I'm totally gonna say this name wrong and I apologize. Gi-hung, like, he started just doing it out of desperation, and it wasn't till other players realized he wasn't getting shot that they started doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Like that was always the rules. The rules that were stated were very strict, but the rules unstated were endless. So
Mhm.
Anything goes. Like survive, bitch. Like even like the bridge part. I mean, we're getting into spoiler territory, guys. So sorry, Bachelek, but
It's between us.
you've had 4 days to watch it. Okay,
But
Man,
the
it
part
sounds so good right now.
the part where they do the bridge and they're pushing each other to like find out if the next one's tempered or not, like that clearly was in the rules, but it was
So-
okay.
No, you bring that up. Right, you open a can of worms there.
Oh gosh.
Oh no. Okay.
That game is the most bullshit game out of all of them because the entire show was all about fairness and equality. And how is that fair or equal to change the rules at the end of the game? So
Oh.
him changing the lights and turning the lights down was changing it, and so it was not like it was before, and it was unfair.
No, but
Because before he was at the back, he wasn't at the front. And then once he was able to see and tell the difference, he had an edge, making the game unequal.
Yeah. Turning
But
off the
again,
lights at the very end.
but it wasn't stated against the rules, right? Like it wasn't against the rules for him to do that, as per stated. Now, as per the other rules in the game, for them to change the environment and make it harder on the players who are surviving is not fair. Does not stay with the same code of fairness that they were preaching in the beginning episodes of the game.
That's very true.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just for the entertainment value of the VIPs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Which were
absolutely.
dicks.
I mean, every company has a bottom
Literally.
line, right?
Well, yeah,
Does
no,
suck.
and that's right, right. So their moral code goes out the window as soon as cash is involved, even if the game's moral code.
Yeah.
Well, and technically, front man wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be the host.
Or Ilnam.
Yeah.
That was the old man, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1. That was something I didn't really expect either. And looking back through all the little Easter egg videos that TikTok's been pulling out, did you guys
So-
expect that?
I was going to say, when did y'all get suspicions of who the head person might be?
I was totally sidelined.
Yeah.
Because so they showed his suit, they showed his mask, but it was just on a mannequin.
Mhm.
And then 2, one thing that was weird was no matter how much anybody else beat or banged on the door or screamed and yelled, they could not care less. But as soon as the old man started yelling, stop it, and was screaming, everything halted to a stop.
Yeah, he knew that he was scared. He
I
could tell that
totally
he was
missed the
scared.
water. Yeah, I totally missed the water bottle thing. That was a new one.
Yeah, there's like a video where they showed a water bottle next to number 1, and it was that scene where it looked like he peed himself to see if 456 would help him.
Not gonna
Which
lie.
kind of like begs.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, kind of begs the answer. Like, do you think that the host, which is number 1, do you think that he went in to help a player? Like, isn't that like the code?
No.
Like,
I think
No, he
liked
was
dying.
dying.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
How far he would get it.
yeah, the story I got, he was like, I'm dying anyway. And I've watched this for 30 years. I want to compete.
yeah, but like
That was what I would have.
at the same time though, like he's helped him. Like 456 has helped him every step of the way except for the marble game, which
And,
Mhm.
that
and
was
again,
very hard.
what I was
Yeah.
telling Puzzled earlier was that just because he went in, so player 1, just because he went in expecting to die, doesn't mean he had a change of heart when he actually met somebody. You know, like he was like, this guy is worth, letting him win. Right?
Mhm.
Like I think 456 changed him.
Yeah. And going back to the water
Now-
bottle scene, I remember seeing it and not thinking that that he would like purposely spill it on him.
Yeah.
But it was interesting how he was playing his own game with everyone around him as well as playing the main game in front of him.
So he kicked it up a notch.
Yeah.
He did.
He went in on expert mode.
He was playing X
I-
Games.
I think with the riot, I think the reason that they stopped was 1, because yes, he was truly scared, but also 2, he had the cry of humanity and it wasn't an official game. It was
Mhm.
technically a game because they're like, this is going to be a special game, but it wasn't an
But-
official game.
The thing about all the other times where people were beating and banging on the door, like they never batted. That's the thing, right? They never batted an eye when anybody else did anything. But he didn't scream that long. Like it was almost immediately they shut it down.
Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying earlier about how 456 kind of like changed him. I don't know if he did or not, because at the end when they play another game and he's seen if somebody would help that person, he's like, oh, like, do you still believe in the good of people? Like, to me, like, that didn't signify that he was like, oh, like, I believe in people's humanity now. Like, I don't think that was enough for him. I think it was more
No,
like, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
I'm not saying it gave him hope in humanity, but it might have said at least there's one, you could tell that player one at the end, he thought this was a way of helping, right?
Mhm.
Because he only ever picked people who pretty much were going to end up dead on the street almost immediately. So at least the whole point of this was giving them a second chance. So I don't know, maybe I just feel like maybe seeing some humanity in that situation, brought him back from the edge a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Because who's to say? I mean, at the end, the card says meet me at 11:30, and the bet's from 11:30 to 12. So we don't know if the old man called the cops beforehand to come help it, right? Like he was still playing a game with the guy. He still had it all thought out, and it was all just
I didn't
because
consider
he
that.
knew.
Interesting. J-Bot did tell us this, and I think I told you guys yesterday about the red light, green light song is actually a scene about a flower that's opening up. And then I actually didn't know this part. The hibiscus Syracuse flower is the Korean national flower.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
And same, like, we were talking about this last week, J-Bot. Peach was like, now I'm going to have to learn Korean so I can see what we're missing. And I was like, we have J-Bot. She speaks Korean. She can tell us, but we can practice with her, too.
So we
That's
sit there.
pretty
She watches the movie. We pause it. She translates. We restart the movie.
Now that's rude.
Do you want her just
You gotta
talking
pay-
over the whole movie? How's she gonna be able to process and understand?
No, we
We're gonna have to
learned
pay her for her
Korean. we
I
all
mean,
Here's
I'll
learned
what
cook,
we
I'll
do.
cook you home cooked meals, put them in the freezer, and go for it.
Here's what we do. We print out a copy of the script, have her translate it, and that way she sees everything beforehand, and then she can just go with us while we watch it.
Just because she's Korean doesn't mean that she's our designated translator.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Wow. Okay. Sorry, Peach. You're not a translator for Spanish anymore.
That's okay.
It's NJ.
Baby
Okay.
food.
No, J-Bot. No.
J-Bot's like, food? Okay. Especially
Wait.
if Crazy makes a brisket, because
Ooh.
brisket's pretty good.
What?
Mm-mm.
I made
Dude, his hand's
scones.
better.
Yeah, I made scones yesterday. They were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They look pretty.
They're Irish strawberry scones.
Can I have some?
Oh my gosh, this isn't even a topic, but Marvel What If ended.
Yeah, we watched the last one before we walked in here.
Oh my god, so good.
What did you
Guardians of the Universe.
think?
Flash.
Believers.
Viva Las Vegas!
Right. Fucking Thor's tattoo just made the episode for me.
That's right. He had a tattoo. Fuck, what was it again? Was it Las
So
Vegas?
he has a microscope and it says science.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, J-Bot, I got a thing of lemon bars I got to make as soon as my oven works again.
Shit, what happened to your oven?
On the touchscreen, the start button stopped working,
Ah,
but you have to
fuck.
replace the whole touchscreen. So, yeah.
All
Yeah,
it
those
shows is an
fucking-
error code at this point.
Those fucking touchscreen digitizers are no fucking joke. Like, they break so easily, especially if you drop something.
I want buttons back.
Yeah, all this new technology is really biting us in the ass.
Yeah.
You know, I just want a vehicle with a carburetor in it right now. Good old mechanical.
Good old mechanical.
What are you got going on this week, guys?
We're going to a car show Wednesday.
Oh, y'all are?
Yeah,
Live?
No, I'm just
See you
no, I'm just kidding.
Like we are?
No.
I'll make sure to get dressed.
Well, so actually, we're gonna go to the gun show Saturday. We're gonna take Peach to the gun show and see what happens.
Have fun.
Oh, fine.
We're hopefully having a community love D&D session tomorrow night.
What?
We've got confirmation on that.
Kiwi Head is well. We were supposed to have our session last Tuesday. It got canceled as in real life stuff popped up for our DM. But we're supposed to have it tomorrow, so hopefully we do. And if not, then
We
see
currently are taking bets.
DOJ on Wednesday.
It's paying off 5-1 that we don't do it tomorrow. So taking bets.
For legal reasons, we are not taking bets. It's illegal in our state.
But what do you want to do this week on Circle of Jerks for Jerks Play?
It's time for a little bit of Minecraft. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
And we do have a Minecraft server that we love showing off to everybody.
Yeah, that's true. I logged in the other day and I started I made a little machine to throw out all my sticks and shit.
And then we can go nuke Scary's Island and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think he'd appreciate it.
Codes.
You think
But
he'd
you have
appreciate
chosen
us?
war.
Oh, fuck. I'm not prepared for that war.
Saturday, I'm super excited for.
D&D.
Yeah.
It's dynamite.
I missed last session. I have to watch the VOD with you so I can know what happened. Oh no. I missed our last session.
They were definitely missing their moral compass. But they didn't die. So
Gary took command of the entire battalion. All 3 of y'all. And Cage got a pet dragon. So yeah.
Did he really?
I think you watched more of it than Crazy did.
I am looking forward to watching the VOD, and it will be on Puzzle Scarlet's channel from 12 to 3 Central Time.
And don't forget, if you like my made-up stories, you can find all of them on wansfanfics.org.
.net.
.net/.org.
.net.
/.gov.
Onesfanfic.net.
wansfanfics.net.
Anyway, here is our producer of the week, and we will roll our outro music. Hooray.
Bye, guys. Who are we
Bye.
rating?
I don't know who we're rating yet.
Well, that wraps up another great episode. And don't forget to join our amazing and supportive community on Discord.
In our Discord, you can find game nights, watch parties, food picks, Dungeons and Dragons, and more. What's not to love about that? We have a little something for everyone. Head over to our website, officialmillennials.com, and you'll find more info, especially our featured gamer of the week.
Speaking of something for everyone, we have a book club. We read a book almost every month and talk through it together. We also have a special perk for our subs to discuss other books in a series called Chapter 2.
Don't forget to swing by YouTube and drop us a follow at Official Millennials. You can also find us on Twitter at MillsOfficial. We appreciate all the support, and y'all have a good one.
This is an Official Millennials production.